Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Perkins, a board-certified OBGYN, and today we're talking about, can hormonal imbalance cause thyroid problems? Women often tell me or ask me, Dr. Perkins, I'm not feeling right. Could it be my hormones? Could it be my thyroid? And the short answer is yes. So let's listen in on this video today because we'll be talking about what exactly the thyroid does. And I'm going to clarify exactly what hormonal imbalance is. And then I'll dive into your estrogens, your progesterone, your insulin, and cortisol to talk about all collectively how these imbalances may affect our thyroid. So let's start today by talking about what exactly the thyroid does. Now, your thyroid gland is a gland that's in your neck. You can't feel it. Sometimes you can see it when it's enlarged. But in general, it's a very, I'm going to say like a butterfly shaped, not size, and not this large, but it's an organ that sits in your neck, something similar to this, okay? And so we want it to be discreet. We want to not be able to feel it because that is what is considered to be normal. Now, it's very thin, but it is there. And it is very, very powerful. It is responsible for your metabolism. So if you are someone who loses weight really quickly or it's very challenging for you to maintain your weight, thyroid is involved with that. On the opposite side, if you're just like, no, Dr. P, that is not my issue. I gain weight and can't lose it. Thyroid. All things metabolic are linked with your thyroid. Your energy, your mood, the way that you feel and move and groove throughout your day is linked with your thyroid. And so it's very, very important. It's an important organ. Now, with that, it is important for us to also know that if it is overactive or underactive, this may impact how you feel on a daily basis. And if you find that you are having issues with your temperature, you're really cold, you're really hot, weight issues, like I mentioned, and if your thyroid levels have not been checked, this is a hint to get to your primary care doctor, whether it be your PCP or even your OBGYN, but you want to see a provider, someone who can check your thyroid levels just to make sure that they're in the right and normal amounts. The thyroid may also change or affect your periods. So if you were to come into my office and say, hey, Dr. Perkins, I've been having irregular cycles, they're not coming as anticipated, and they were at some point. If you're just like, I skip my periods, if you're just like, my periods last longer than they should, beyond 7 days or so, one of the first tests that I would do, blood work wise, would be to check your thyroid. Now, in general, when we're talking about hormonal imbalance, we're talking about the landscape of hormones that is internal. We have greater than 50 hormones in our body. That's a lot. And each hormone is responsible for increasing and decreasing according to our daily needs. They also communicate with each other and impact each other. And so when we think of cortisol or stress hormone, if that level goes high, it may impact our sex hormones like our estrogens and our progesterones and may cause those to decrease. And so stress can lead to us skipping a cycle because it shuts down our hormonal sex hormones. And so your body isn't able to function because of these impacts. And so in general, when we talk about hormonal imbalances, we're talking about your hormones being too high or too low and impacting the other hormones in your system. Now, specifically, when we're talking about imbalances in the female reproductive tract, we're talking about our estrogens and our progesterones and how those are impacted because those are at the core at maintaining our pelvis, our ovulation, our menstrual cycles, and everything connected to those. Now, if your cortisol, for instance, is not functioning well, it may lead to insulin resistance. Insulin resistance means that your body's producing insulin, but your cells and your organs are not responding well to it. This is very much linked to conditions like PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. All of this may lead to having issues with our main transitions in life. Things like pregnancy, things like perimenopause or menopause. And so it is very important for us to understand what our hormonal landscape truly looks like. When we think about estrogens and the impact on our thyroid, this is what may happen. Estrogens, if high, may lead to an increase in something called your thyroid binding globulin, or TBG. And what this does is that it binds free thyroid hormone that's just hanging in your blood. Anything that is bound becomes either active or inactive. Oftentimes, when it comes to the thyroid, it becomes inactive. When your thyroid hormones become inactive, your body then thinks that you're not making enough, and it thinks that your level is extremely low. And this causes a hypothyroid-like appearance. Now, people with hypothyroidism may experience weight gain, feeling really cold, acne. They may feel lack of energy because your thyroid activity is low. When we think of progesterone, if your progesterone activity is too active, the same thing may happen. You may have these symptoms of hypo or low thyroidism, and so your body may experience the same things, the sluggish feelings, the drop in your temperature and feeling really cold, the weight gain, and the difficulty and challenges that comes with weight loss in that condition. Because of this, it is very important that your estrogens and your progesterones are truly balanced in the range that it needs to be. We know that cortisol as well may lower the activity of your thyroid. So if you're under chronic stress and your cortisol levels are really high, we're in a very hormonally imbalanced state, and our thyroid may become underactive. I briefly mentioned on PCOS a little earlier, but I kind of want to talk about that a little bit further at this moment as well, because PCOS, by definition, is an underlying hormonal issue. And so if you're experiencing PCOS, if you've been diagnosed with this, it is very common, and studies have shown that people with PCOS have very much of an underactive thyroid condition as well. And so as you've heard so far, our estrogens, our progesterones, our insulin, cortisol, all of these hormones may impact the function of your thyroid and can easily cause a hormonal imbalance. And so what do? Well, we want to go to the doctor first. We want to check our thyroid levels, okay? And that's done with a TSH level, which is a thyroid stimulating hormone level, okay? It's one of the biggest ones that we want to check. That hormone is actually produced by the brain, and it sends a signal to your thyroid for it to produce hormones. And so we want to check to see what that level is, and that's a direct correlation with how active your thyroid is. We also want to get a T3 and a T4 level. These are the hormones that are actually being released by your thyroid, and we'll check to see how much is circulating in your blood. The numbers, or the results from these 3 tests, will give us an idea of whether or not your thyroid is normal or abnormal. And while we're at it, it probably would be a good idea to check your reproductive hormones as well, your estrogens, your progesterones, all the things, okay? But if we are just concerned about the thyroid, the 3 tests are the ones that we really, truly want to get and manage if imbalanced. Before we finish here, I do want to say and just make note that hormonal imbalance won't cause direct thyroid issues. However, we need to balance all of these hormones if we want to look, feel, and move normally. As hormonal as we are, and I know we only talked about this for a very short period of time today, I'd love to send you a free copy of my ebook, Hormones Don't Lie. And in this ebook, we're diving into more about our hormonal landscape and, more importantly, what you can do to make it better, to create and find balance. I would love to send that to you. And for you to get that, you just have to click the link below this video. I hope you've learned something today. As you know, I am completely a nerd when it comes to our female reproductive system, but I'm really more concerned about making you happy and well in any way that I can help support you. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know if you found this video to be helpful or share it with someone. And please come back and join me next time.